being here. Hope you've had a good week thus far. I don't know about you, I prefer when weeks start with Tuesday, like they did last week. But we can't, I don't think we're going to get that arranged. So, today we basically have 3 agenda items to cover. And the first 2 items are going to be covered by Susan Schrader and Shannon Del Rey. They want to talk to us about some information about student crisis plans and some updates when it comes to student accommodations that you may be having to work through when working with a student. So Susan and Shannon are going to take it from here.
Scott, can you go to the person? And we do ask that when you are emailing concerns, which we always welcome, and we thank you so much because you guys are working with our students, in the classroom on a day-to-day basis, is that if you have a concern, please be very short in your emails, because we do also live in a day and age where we do have many FOIA requests. So whatever we're putting in an email, please remember that parents can access that information. So we want to make sure that we're not including too much confidential information within an email. So if you have a concern about Lucas Del Rey, if you want to email Johnny Forth, please never hesitate to do so, but just be short and to the point, for lack of better words.
And ultimately, if you can't find it, just call down. We'll get you to the right person, because we do know we have social workers and sites in other parts of the building. So request for assistance, that is in the forms right above the link we just talked about. This is the form you fill out if there's not anything urgent, but you want us to talk about a student and problem solving. It guides you through it. Do know that we are going to want to know that you have talked to the student and the parent, or it's going to get kicked back. Because the parent's going to ask us what's going on in the classroom, and we're not going to be able to tell them that. So that's why we want you to make that contact. We will talk about it. We'll get back to you regardless of what we decide to do with it.
Susan, you mentioned that there was a place that we can look on the hub to see their case manager and if they have a social emotional
We can show you that too.
something. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you show us where that is?
And then Mr. McPeak, if you would go right above that one.
Can you repeat that question, Susan?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to show you in just a second where you can find the IEP and 504 case managers. So also under the request for assistance, is that requiring you to have a link?
No.
Oh, so this is in there too. I try and remember to put this out each semester. It's where our study seminar, supported study hall, our reading seminar and freshman seminar, it's who's teaching them and what classes they're in. So I don't know if you ever need it, but I like to have it out there in case someone's looking for that information. So that is in there by each period. Okay, Mr. McPeak, we're going to try and find something else on the hub too, which is where our IEP and 504 case managers are.
School site. Go to school site. Yeah, you have to go to SPED.
Like our main home. Okay.
So go back to our main page.
As a classroom teacher, if you're providing whole class materials to help students with assessments, that's great. You've identified those supports as needs for your students, but please be mindful that we still need to be providing those specific accommodations in addition to the supports that you provided the whole class. And then I also did want to mention for alternate setting, if some of your students do have alternate setting as a testing accommodation, they can access the testing center as a testing location for their assessments in addition to a study skills room. So if they don't want to test spread and they just want to go to an alternate setting, they can utilize that testing center as a testing site for alternate setting. So if you ever have questions about what an accommodation means or how to implement it, please don't hesitate to reach out to the case manager or myself, and we'd be happy to walk you through it and make sure that we are doing all that we can to support our kids. And thank you all very much for all that you do, because I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. McPeak. Can we switch to the faculty meeting updates tab? And if our Guiding Coalition members who are participating in this portion of the meeting can come on down. We're going to shift gears now, and we're going to spend a few minutes today reviewing some things that we shared on at the opening day faculty meeting that we had here in the auditorium regarding our professional learning community, specifically work that we are going to be doing as learning teams. And also today, we're going to be sharing some information about where we are headed from this point forward. First, I really want to thank this small group right here, but also all members of our Guiding Coalition. They've been doing a great job of
vision statements that were produced and created through the first couple of weeks by everybody. And they tried to draw out some common themes and use some of the wording that they came across and some of the themes that they gathered from the collective work of everybody. And this was the vision statement that they produced. I'm not going to read it to you because you guys can all read what it says up there. But again, I think they tried to identify some themes, some things that seem to be important to us as a collective group of educators that would benefit our students. So again, thank you to your work, thank you to that smaller group that put this together. And obviously I think our mission and our vision moving forward will take some time every so often to look at these and see if we need to tweak them or change them. But these two concepts are going to kind of be our guiding vision and mission for.
So that is the process of identifying what can every student not leave the room not knowing. So they have to absolutely know these things before they leave, the essential skills, and then how will we know that each student has learned it? So that's critical question number 2. That involves creating common formative assessments that will show whether or not a student has learned what we set out for them to learn. And then 3 and 4 are kind of related in the sense that they both go back to the data collected from critical question number 2. How will we respond if students did not learn it? So what reteaching methods need to be implemented for students to succeed in the learning outcomes? And then how do we extend learning for students who have demonstrated proficiency? So what more can they learn? So we have our need to know, which are our learning outcomes. We have our nice to know. So what else would they be able to learn from those units? Which gives us our next step, which is back to top.
Okay, so what's next?
But we also recognize this is kind of a dangerous exercise because you have the freedom to pour out what you're thinking in an anonymous way, so you can give us some feedback. But anyway, because we're running a little bit short on time and I'm done rambling, go ahead and stand up, kind of get some blood flowing, really think about these 2 questions. What do we want to accomplish in the next 5 years? And at least one way we can measure it.
If you have a phone with you and you want to take a picture of the QR code, feel free. We will also, as we have done so far this year, we will send this PowerPoint presentation to all of you so that you can see each of the slides, and then you will have access to the QR code. And if you want to spend more time very quickly and said, Mom, we're in St. Charles. So on Sunday of this week, the Geneva kids will be out painting the storefront windows on State Street. So for those of you sponsoring the club, team, or organization, thank you for assisting your students as they do that on Sunday. Thank you for that reminder. We kick off Sunday. Should be a fun week. Let's enjoy it. Have a great evening, everybody. Thanks for coming.